Carpe diem, my name is Ultranatic, and here's another Total Drama vlog going again over Total Drama Island 2024 in the penultimate episode of this season, Off the Hook. Yeah, I love doing this, like, here, just to give, like, a little signifier for the episode in my thumbnails, like, to have them stand out a little bit more. Yeah, we are in the final stretch of this. Man, like, we don't have any word at the moment of there being any new episodes or a new third season. I personally think that for this last week, given what the season's been giving us, even if the ending were to outright suck, I would be 100% satisfied with this final season. It'd be a stupendous way to end this franchise if it is to end this way. I hope it's not. I'd love to see more, because, you know, it's my thing. But yeah, it's been really fun going back and look at these in a more live manner, because everything else I review is from, like, way in the past, and I love that nostalgic look back. This is more current, and it just feels so great to be in the moment with this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna miss this, but all good things must come to an end, and yeah, this season has been a very good thing. Let's start with the opening, which has Prelude looking over a pair of swans, you know, getting to get on the lake and comparing themselves to them. Only for a shark to come up and eat one of the swans, which reminds Priya to keep your head in the game, because we gotta win this prize. And Caleb is trying to, like, hold her back a little bit, which... Okay, there are people who I hear did not like Prelude because they got too much screen time. Okay, I understand that kind of hate in the same way that I understand people hating a song that gets overplayed on the radio and stuff like that. But if I can find enjoyment in it in isolation, I can forgive overplay to an extent. As long as it's a good product in the first place, the overplay might make it less enjoyable, but at least there is a context where I was able to enjoy it for a time. And the same thing with Prelude. And the same thing with a lot of other, like, characters who get a lot of screen time. I hear the same thing about Duncan. I have my issues with Duncan for sure, but I can't say I hate him outright. He has a lot of really great moments and conflict and one-liners. It's like, I don't know, I like him. And I like Prelude. They, again, have really remarkable sparks that come in between them. I love their chemistry. I think they make a great couple. But do I love seeing the conflict they're constantly in the middle of, you know, with Priya, like, really being overbearing to Caleb? Maybe not. I'll be upfront about that, but there's worse we could be getting. Because I like their chemistry. They can be a little lovey-dovey, but not to a point where I think it's the least bit out of character. I do see that Caleb learned how to grow feelings for this girl that he thinks is really cool and sweet and has a lot in common with. And Priya has come out of her shell like a guy who's just, you know, big, strong, muscular, and likable. So at least I think that works. Compare that to Alejandro and Heather in All-Stars when they get together at the end. I hated it. I love the ship. I love Ala Heather. But when they actually got together, you know, minus the fight and the strategy, oh my god, it was awful. Just seeing them go lovey-dovey, like, oh, I love you. I was like, nope, let's turn this off. I'm not watching more of this, because what did you do to them? This is not the least bit like what they are. If people found it funny or something, whatever, I thought it was awful and cringeworthy. This, at the very least, feels a lot more believable. I like Prelude quite a bit. That all being said, they have their moments that I do take issue with. For example, Julia tries to get in the middle of them again by asking Caleb, hey, is our deal still good? Do I still own your vote? To which, it's remarkable you ask that in front of Priya, because what do you think Caleb's going to say? Yes? Yes, he says yes. Our deal is still good. Caleb, I went to bat for you. I said that while there's a lot of stupid guys this season, you're one of the few smart ones. You're kind of destroying my argument there. Okay, you're smart in several other ways. You were trying to get into Harvard and whatnot, but when it comes to relationships and playing the game, you know, like an end game where you want to actually win, you suck. is it really that hard to lie? I mean, for one thing, you shouldn't be going on with this deal in the first place, but lying's not really that difficult. I'll give you an example. I'm 5'5". Am I telling the truth or am I lying? I'll spoil it. I'm lying. I'm 6'1". But would you have outright believed me if I, didn't tell you all that? I'm not really sure, but I kept a straight face throughout that because that's how lying works. That you just gotta be committed to what you are saying. Caleb is not. He's not committed to, he wants to be with Priya, and I know he wants to win, but I want to keep my ideals and my morals intact because my grandmother taught me that a promise means a lot. He's basically if DJ had been an endgamer. And I know he made it pretty far in the first whole drama. I mean, final 5 or 4 in a season kind of game, which I love DJ and all, but I could never see it happening with that guy. He could not make it to the end game if he tried to. He just would not be cut out for it. He's cut out for other stuff, and he's an absolute sweetheart, Gel Giant. It's just not meant for him. Caleb, I do kind of expect better from. However, Priya convinces him, with pretty much no prodding whatsoever, double-cross Julia. When she suggests the possibility to him, he actually goes in confessional, "Hey, Grandma, I'm gonna double-cross Julia." Wow, that took you, no convincing whatsoever. Why did we go through with this again? What was the point of that first couple of minutes? That was bizarre. If it sounds like I'm complaining, I don't hate the moment. It's just one of those things where I'm thinking, that's what we went with for the script, really? Because, again, these episodes, even at their worst, have been 7 out of 10s, and I don't know if I call this a 7 out of 10. Is it one of the weaker ones just from the opening? Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I do still enjoy it. I don't want to turn it off or anything, but I was watching this just asking myself, Caleb, what are we even doing? And I continue asking that when he says, "Hey, I'm gonna go tell Julia that our deal is off." No, you dummy! Don't do that. Even Priya's like, "No, make her think you're alone with her, and then we double cross her." But it's double crossing. What show did you sign up for? Total Drama Island. Please tell me you understand what you gotta do to win. You're in the final 4. Just go all the way with this, please. Whatever. We see Wayne still misses Raj, who was eliminated in the last episode, and while he's contemplating all of this, we hear a song being sung by Terry McGurran, as we find out later on, about how lonely he feels, and it is 10 trillion times better than that one Justin Bieber song about being lonely too. I absolutely adore hearing that. So, yeah, Terry McGurran, if you ever happen to come across my videos, you got major talent. Not just at, being a show, like helping out with this amazing show, and not just with voice acting. As a singer, you're quite a good singer. Keep this up. Sorry for the squeaky chair. We see Julia try to appeal to him in hockey gear and say, "Hey, since you lost your best bud, Raj, and I lost my best bud, obviously MK, we should become each other's best buds." To which Wayne says, "You want to get married?" That is so stupid, it actually is pretty funny. It's that's what you thought that meant. What does that mean for your friendship with Raj? Do you want to get married to him? I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that if Raj weren't taken. He is, by Bowie. Let them have their love. I love Raj Bo. Don't take that away from them. But I guess if things don't work out and you actually do want to marry Raj, I'm okay with it. I mean, whatever y'all want to do, I do think y'all, I can't ever say I want to see y'all apart. Of course, Julia's like, no, as an alliance or something like that. She needs a backup in case Caleb double crosses her. Good instincts. And, yeah, then we get to the challenge, which is to hook contestants from a little holders they have on their chests. And if they're hooked, they'll be taken into a tank of terror, which is a tank that just happens to have like a bit of a locker or something, like a giant trailer, I guess, that contains their deepest fears. Oh, and how is the show able to get across those? Because you might recall in Phobia Factor, in an incredibly forced way, like with this sheriff fest that was entirely unprompted, that everyone just spills their worst fears, except Courtney, although didn't have to. It was kind of already shown. So yeah, does something stupid like that happen? Nope, applications. You throw them down there. Thank you! That's how this is supposed to work! Like, of course they put it down there, like, what's your deepest fear? Yeah. It's like an application for a reality show is gonna be very much like an application for a job. People are gonna be honest about that kind of stuff there. And that means you can exploit it. But Caleb is like, well, I thought you wanted to know so you wouldn't expose us to them. You know, like allergies. Well, yes, allergies are in fact very important. Fears are fun. I'm cool with that. And Chris saying like, well, yeah, we're not gonna literally kill you. Except they will, because it's Total Drama Island, you know, casualty counter are low. But I know what they're talking about. Like, we're not gonna try to intentionally kill you, like, with that kind of stuff. Fears, though, yeah, like, those are up for grabs, so it's completely fair game. I agree, it is fair game. Like, why not just go through with that? So we see the camper. It says here that the first camper who is alone in the pit is going to win immunity. I'm going to guess with a little buffer for time, because we see a couple times contestants are almost in the pit alone, but then, like, right after someone comes out, I'm like, well, is it like a second delay? Or is it like wrestling where you gotta like hold somebody down for 10 seconds before they count as the winner? I don't know how it works. Anyway, Julia tries saying, okay, here's our plan if you want me to convince me that our alliance is real. You hook Priya, I hook Wayne, and then I hook you, and we take out Wayne. Where I'll keep you and Priya safe. Which is such an obvious lie. Like, if I were on a trial, I'd be like, ooh, something really it's what's coming out of your mouth. Bullshit. Like, hello. Like, who, like, I'm not exactly new to this. I would know to not trust her. But Caleb actually does it. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is... And remarkably, Priya is not instantly like, I'm gonna kill you for that. No, it's more like, you got explaining to do. Priya, he hooks you by the... He's sabotaging your chance of winning, like... Ironically, for a show called Off the Hook, you are letting him off the hook way too easy on this stuff. Because, I'm sorry, I would take the task for being this freaking stupid. Because this is just catastrophically stupid of him. Again, I don't hate him for it. Like, it's not like it, like, completely taints his character. But it's one of those things where you gotta question what's going through his head. Like, it almost makes Wayne seem smart. Almost. He's very dumb in this, too. Like, again, almost to an unrealistic degree. So, yeah, it is revealed that Priya's fear is thunder and lightning. Which she says, like, it's not just toddlers and, like, dogs. Like, it's, like, fully, like, mature, accomplished, successful women can get it, too. I'll roll with it, personally. Hello, in the first season, we had Duncan being scared of Celine Dion music store standees. I will accept Thunder and Lightning. At least I get it. Again, really, the standees and, like, not the actual star, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be more scared of the actual real-life Celine Dion than a standee of her. I love her music, but if you're gonna tell me which one is a little scarier, probably the real thing. It's just one of those things where it's like, how do you exist? I don't know how to take this, but whatever. Wayne then gets grabbed by Julia. At least she was partially true to her deal. And he gets trapped inside a room that has a bear in a hockey uniform. But I'm not scared of bears. Oh, no, that's not what the fear is. The bear pulls a mask down that shows Raj's face. And he's like, no, that was my biggest fear now. Raj playing for a different team. Because it's a different color jersey and all that stuff. To which the bear roars at him. And then Wayne's like, oh, right. This was bound to happen eventually. And Chris is like, wait, you're over this already? Yeah, but that was your biggest fear. And this really helped me come to terms with it. Okay, there are times where Wayne can be very unrealistically stupid. This is one of those times where I think it works. Because again, it works because the comedic timing comes from somebody else being perplexed that you actually exist. For real. What the heck is going on here? So, yeah, he gets over his fear remarkably quickly, but I'm kind of cool with that. After there's a little of a standoff between Caleb and Julia, Wayne comes out and hooks Caleb instead. And his worst fear apparently is pretty cliche, according to Chris. Clowns and snakes. Well, wow, you really do have a lot in common with DJ Snakes. One of your biggest fears. Again, same thing with DJ. It's like, did they just want another DJ except, who could make it far in the game? Why did I say like it was a bad thing? I was okay with that. Again, he's got his faults, but I like him. I do not really hate Caleb. I just hate how stupid he currently is at the moment, but whatever. So yeah, because like it's boring fears. You have thunder and lightning. Is that really any less boring? Whatever. So he said to spice it up, I'm gonna combine them. A snake with clown makeup on. How they got that, I do not know, but it actually does look pretty cool. I like the image of that. It sounds like something that Pennywise would help create. Baha, baha, baha. Hey, if I have to mention Pennywise, I have to do that. Baha, baha, baha. Anyway, so we see Julia get Wayne again, but right as she gets him, like I mentioned, she's in the pit for herself for like a brief second. Priya comes out having gone through her fear. Why'd you cower during that thunder and lightning anyway? If you want to get away from it, get out of the room. Hello. But yeah, now it's between her and Julia how to get out there. So Wayne's put in the pit again, but he's not facing the same fear because he got over it. Now his fear is going to be, ironically, his own team mascot. Yeah, I think the joke is supposed to be how that makes no sense. Well, I don't find it very funny. I find it just makes no sense. What? You're scared of your own team mascot? Why? It's just owls. I'm not saying that owls can't be scary, but I don't find them very scary. When I think of owls, I'm thinking of either the Tootsie Pop commercial or the Owl House. Okay, granted, I can actually see an argument where Hootie is terrifying, but I love Hootie. Who doesn't love Hootie? He's great. But whatever. But along with being put in the room with like a mascot with like somebody in like a costume for his team's mascot, that suit also is filled with poisonous spiders, which apparently alarms the intern who's wearing the costume. Even though I'm like, well, okay, that's funny, but what was I supposed to do against Wayne for real? Okay, he does cower, but I'm like, I feel like that hurts the intern, whatever. And he and the intern bond pretty quickly. You know what? I like how this shows Wayne. Like, it portrays him as what we've seen him as for quite a long time. A very sympathetic, likable big brother type. I'm not opposed to that. Go Wayne. Good for you. So we see Julia get Priya, but not from the little notch on her chest, but from the butt, which just keeps her hanging in the air while Chris reads the rule book. Only going to say, rules are boring, put her down. I feel like that was kind of pointless, but whatever. And then we see Wayne come out again, Julia and Priya and him all, Julia, Priya, and Caleb, sorry, not Caleb, Julia, Priya, and Wayne, sorry, I'm keeping everything in track here, all hook each other and go through their fears again. And we actually get to see Julia's fears time. She dropped in Marmalade, which has a bunch of old people, including cameos from Redonkulous Races, Jerry and Pete. Or is it Gary and Pete? I forget. Whatever. She's being like, no, I'm scared of old people. It just reminds you that the beauty in the youth, it doesn't last. It's actually quite complex. Like, not that I should be surprised, but as a weird, I'm a little surprised. Like, pleasantly surprised. I like this fear, and I like how they put it out there. It's just one of those things where I didn't expect that to be shown, but not complaining. Then Priya and Caleb get out at the exact same time, which Priya's like, really? Now of all times, I could have won it, whatever. And then Julia also comes out, and Caleb is now faced with an ultimatum. Who does he hook? His alliance with Julia or his relationship with Priya? And they both have him on the hook. Again, quite Matt, you see that? When I really think about it, the title for this episode is actually really fitting for the challenge and the dilemmas from a lot of these major players. So Caleb does what, at the moment, I thought was the stupidest thing he'd done the whole episode, and not saying a lot, to something that I thought, okay, actually this is kind of smart, a little at least. He hooks them both. My first thought was, oh, there is dead meat that's more living than you are right now. And then I realized, oh wait, he's immune. Congrats, Caleb, on the final 3. Like what was I talking about? Of course, Wayne got eaten by the snake because he got tossed in that later on too. And Priya is both forgiving and not forgiving of her boyfriend, saying like if he could get electrocuted after everything that's gone down, I'd be appreciative of that. Otherwise, I'm cool with him taking out Julia so she's not immune. Okay. You see, here's the weird thing. I can see you being like, why would Julia say stuff like that? Do you see what she's been through in these last 2 seasons as far as people go? I understand her being on the edge. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying I understand it. It's a pretty understandable situation to be put in. So yeah, we get to the marshmallow ceremony where, along with Caleb, Wayne is then shown to be next, which is apparently seen as shocking by Chris. And they're like, well, why is that shocking? I didn't expect him to get anywhere close to the final 3. Honestly, he's been kind of a dud throughout a lot of these challenges, so I get it. Like, I'm not saying he's bad. I like watching it, but even now I'm like, really? It is kind of as surprising as when Cody made the final 3 in World Tour. I'm like, you of all people. I mean, I don't hate you, so, again, not complaining. But it is kind of peculiar. Whatever. And then Priya gets the final marshmallow, so Julia's getting 4th place again. Except she's not, because remember that hidden immunity idol that Damien found, but got stolen? Guess what? I was right. Julia had it. Again, I really don't like the whole stealing thing, but that does beg a pretty big question. What was she doing all this for? If you're freaking safest round, who cares? Was she just spreading chaos for the sake of it? Again, why did I say it like I thought it was a bad thing? I mean, not that I loved everything about this chaos, but it is one of those things where I was like, you didn't really have to do it. You were coasting. You could have been okay. But did you want a souvenir or something? I don't know. But because of that, the person with the next highest number of votes goes home. And of course, you vote out Priya, which is a smart thing to do. She did win last season. The fact that Priya almost made the finals twice in a row, that is some queen shit right there. And the fact that Julia has now outlasted her former placement of 4th is also some massive queen shit. So, yeah, I love what this show's been doing to its female players, like just putting them on like a really high pedestal. Yeah, we didn't get a lot who made it incredibly far. I love the ones we were seeing though, so yeah, that's absolutely awesome. And she says like, hey, had you just followed my deal, I would have actually kept Priya and voted out Wayne. Again, bullshit, which then gets confirmed from the confessional. No, I totally wouldn't have. I'll be fair though, it's a pretty cruel thing for you to tell them, just to make them feel a little more guilty, so I do approve of that. So, bit of a wonky ending, I guess. Not that I'm upset about the outcome, it's just the way that we get the outcome, whatever. But, yeah, Priya gets eliminated, and she just asks Caleb to avenge her by beating Julia. And, yeah, that concludes the penultimate episode off the hook. Obviously, I have complaints regarding how stupid Caleb is in the episode, but it's not like I hate how stupid he is. I just can't really believe it. Like, there's parts of Wayne being stupid that I find unbelievable, but at least it's an in-character kind of stupid. This is one of those things where I'm like, once Caleb got found out that he initially was only bonding with Priya because of the alliance, and then was revealed by Z, no, he's just playing you for an alliance, yada yada. Suddenly his entire vibe on relationships just went out the freaking window, which you could argue was because he never had a proper girlfriend. But even now I'm like, dude, you, look at you. You're fine. How does this make any sense? But, again, am I mad? Not really. I still like watching the episodes. Incredibly entertaining. There's just things I'd change, but maybe not change fully. Just tweak a little bit. So, yeah, that was Off the Hook. We only have one more after this to go to. It's gonna be quite a ride, I'm pretty sure. And I cannot wait to see you on the next one. Take care.